Coming up on First at 4, we'll talk to city leaders in Pikeville following outrage on social media when it was business as usual for a bingo parlor last night. And we'll tell you how the coronavirus is now affecting funeral homes and beauty salons.
And showers and storms will move into the mountains this evening. First at 4 is next.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, community members in Pike County were concerned and some even outraged last night with a gathering in Pikeville that went against recent social distancing recommendations. WYMT's Buddy Forbes spoke to the city manager, who says the city is doing its part to keep its people safe and healthy.
Just last night, this parking lot was full of vehicles as dozens of people came out for a night of bingo in Pike County. Technically breaking no laws, but ignoring federal recommendations and making the community a little uneasy. When community members saw the cars parked in the Mark IV bingo parking lot last night, they took to social media with their frustrations. Most restaurants and other entertainment spaces already closed shop, as federal, state, and local leaders encouraged social distancing and avoiding group activities with more than 10 people. Locals say the gathering was irresponsible, but legally, the establishment was not going against government orders.
They were within their rights to be open. Certainly, there's been a number of guidance documents that have been issued.
This afternoon, the bingo hall posted a sign for its customers, telling them the space is closed until further notice. City Manager Philip Ellswick says the city is making sure its businesses and gathering spaces are part of the solution as changes continue.
We are working diligently, as is Governor Beshear clearly, in order to enforce those guidelines and to protect us.
During yesterday's news conference, Governor Andy Beshear announced that public spaces that encourage group entertainment like this should be closed by 5 p.m. today. In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Later, we will have more from Ellswick about the city's response to recent closings. The coronavirus is changing our lives every day. Yesterday, Governor Andy Beshear gave recommendations on how families should handle funerals. WYMT's Will Puckett talked to funeral directors in Perry County about how they are taking precautions against the virus but are not shutting down until they get a state order.
Governor Beshear is taking what he calls drastic but necessary steps to try and slow the spread of COVID-19 or the coronavirus here in the Commonwealth. He has touched on funerals and weddings in several news conferences, but has not went as far as to make an order. He is asking people that are holding or hosting to try and reduce the risk. Here at Malgard's Mountain View Chapel, they are taking precautions on their own to try to help stop the possible spread of the virus.
By closing our lounges and not allowing food in, that keeps people from lingering and getting real close for longer periods of time.
These steps that we're taking will allow us in the near future to continue our normal traditions if we do what's recommended right now.
Now, Ashley and Jeff say that they have not and will not stop the number of people who come into these services unless an order comes down from Frankfort. They understand the immensity of these moments for families who are preparing to say goodbye to a loved one, and they plan to continue their services as they always have, again, unless the governor tells them to do otherwise. In Perry County, Will Puckett, WYMT Mountain News.
Governor Andy Beshear is expected to hold his next news conference at 5 p.m. today. You'll be able to watch that here on WYMT, WYMT.com, and on our Facebook page. Businesses continue to shut down during the coronavirus outbreak. Governor Beshear announced yesterday all salons must close by 5 p.m. today. WYMT's Madison Pergram stopped by some local salons to get their response.
I'm out here in front of Karma Spa and Salon where I talked to the owner, Kayla, earlier. She says ever since the virus started making news, they are taking additional precautions, including additional cleaning, sanitation, moving chairs further apart, and making clients sign a paper about where they have traveled lately and if they've been sick in the last 24 hours to 2 weeks. Since the governor's announcement yesterday, she said not only her, but many people in the industry are panicking. But as the owner, she has a responsibility to help everyone that works under her get through this.
It's a heavy load to bear. I've got to make sure that my girls that do work under me, you know, I'm their leader, and I have to make sure above and beyond that they get paid first during this time, because, you know, who knows how long we'll have to be out.
Coming up, we'll hear more from Kayla and from another salon that didn't open their doors at all today. For now, in Hazard, Madison Pergram, WYMT Mountain News.
And now to a developing story. All of Toyota's North American plants are shutting down Monday and Tuesday. This includes the Georgetown plant here in Kentucky. We are told the shutdown is a production adjustment due to the anticipation of a decline in market demand due to the economic impact of the coronavirus and to protect the safety of employees. So let's see how the markets are taking all this in today. And it's another hit due to fears of the coronavirus. The Dow Jones closes down today more than 1,334 points. Governor Andy Beshear says that all hospitals and medical offices should stop performing elective procedures in order to keep medical facilities ready for possible victims of COVID-19. UK hospital staff is navigating its way to ending elective procedures. It's all in an effort to conserve supplies and space in anticipation of more COVID-19 cases. Now, there was a news conference today, and speakers say surgeons with expertise in various areas will have a say in the decision-making process.
Sometimes it's a hard decision. Every patient has a unique story. We pay attention to that, and we deal with the surgeons when issues arise.
UK hospital employees also report that they diagnosed a total of 3 patients with COVID-19. One was admitted and is now discharged. Another was admitted just last night and is in fair condition after being monitored at home by the health department. And the last is still at home being monitored. Every state in the U.S. is now reporting cases of the coronavirus. West Virginia was the last. In response, President Donald Trump signed the Defense Production Act to expand production of medical equipment to combat the outbreak. Also today, both the U.S. and Canada agreed to close the northern border to all non-essential traffic.
It's not pertaining at this moment to trade between the two countries.
As lawmakers negotiate a larger stimulus package, the Senate passed a House bill that provides paid sick days and leave and expands unemployment benefits. Nearly 1 in 5 Americans say they have already seen their hours reduced or have been laid off. And those numbers are rising, with Ford, General Motors, and Fiat Chrysler all temporarily closing U.S. plants.
Saw a little bit of sunshine earlier today. We've been dealing with those very warm temperatures, but now we're going to have to deal with rain and maybe even a few thunderstorms. We'll go ahead and take you up though to Interstate 75. So there's that sunshine that they saw earlier today, and now that rain's starting to move into the mountains. So areas along I-75 and west of that, including Laurel County, Whitley, McCreary, Pulaski, Rockcastle, even Wayne County, now getting in on that heavier rain. And we'll have to watch some of these bands of rain that do move in, because that area is also under a marginal risk for severe weather. Remember, that's a 1 out of 5 on that severe weather scale. Only just a few of us in this. Most of us are just going to hear a few rumbles of thunder, but we'll keep an eye on those storms as they do move into the mountains. So they'll continue to kind of be on and off. You can see heavy bands of rain up north right around midnight tonight, and just some scattered showers and storms continuing throughout the overnight hours and a little bit into your Thursday. But we'll be tracking warmer weather Thursday and more rain for your Friday as a cold front moves in, coming up in a little bit.
Thank you, Paige. If the coronavirus wasn't enough to deal with, this morning, the most powerful earthquake in 28 years hit Utah. The 5.7 magnitude quake rattled Salt Lake City, cutting off power to tens of thousands. Inbound flights to Salt Lake International Airport were diverted as workers inspected runways for damage. The quake was centered 10 miles west of Salt Lake City, starting at 7 a.m. local time. People were told to stay away from downtown because of potential danger of downed power lines and rubble. At least 6 aftershocks were reported within 20 minutes of the main quake. A suspect in a stabbing that happened earlier this month in Boyd County is now behind bars after he was released from the hospital. This is 24-year-old Christopher Brown. Brown is accused of being involved in a large fight that led to the stabbing. The 39-year-old man who was stabbed is expected to make a full recovery. Brown is facing a first-degree assault charge. A West Virginia mechanic was killed last month while trying to help a truck driver position a trailer. 50-year-old James Campbell died February 27th when a trailer hit him at the Federal No. 2 coal mine. A report says Campbell was standing in front of the trailer wheels when the truck driver moved it forward and he was hit. The Mine Safety and Health Administration highlighted the importance of communicating and verifying information relayed is understood. Former Vice President Joe Biden is widening his lead to become the Democratic challenger to President Donald Trump in the November election. Biden won Florida, Illinois, and Arizona last night, sweeping every state that held a primary. At the end of the night, Biden and Senator Bernie Sanders both live-streamed messages to voters, stressing the importance of leadership during this current health and economic crisis.
You know, tackling this pandemic is a national emergency, akin to fighting a war.
In this moment of crisis, it is imperative that we stand together.
Ohio was supposed to be the fourth state to hold a primary yesterday. In-person voting, though, was postponed until June after the declaration of a health emergency. Straight ahead on First at 4, stores across the nation are creating special hours just for senior shoppers amid the outbreak of the coronavirus.
And we'll be tracking showers and storms as we head into the end of the week. We'll talk about the timing and impacts coming up.
Shop the